I'll be reading Shloka 23 to 45 towards the end of the chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we are continuing that chapter titled Progeny of Daughter Daksha, text 27. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of Bharatas, the constellation named Kritika were all the wives of the moon god. However, because Prajapati Daksha had cursed him to suffer from the disease causing gradual destruction, the moon god could not beget children in any of the wives. Text 24 to 26. Thereafter, the king of the moon pacified Prajapati Daksha with the courteous words and thus regained the portion of the light he had lost during the disease. Nevertheless, he could not beget children. The moon loses his shining power during the dark fortnight, and the bright fortnight it manifests again. O King Parikshit, now please hear from me the name of Kasyapa's wives, from whose wombs the population of the entire universe has come. They are They are the mothers of almost all the population of the entire universe, and their names are very auspicious to hear. They are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kastha, Arista, Sursa, Ila, Muni, Krodhavasa, Tamra, Surabhi, Sarama, and Timi. From the womb of Timi, all the aquatics took birth. From the womb of Sarama, the ferocious animal like the tigers and lions took birth. Text 27. My dear King Parikshit, from the womb of Surabhi, the buffalo, cow, and the other animals were chosen. Other animal with cloven hooves took birth. From the womb of Tamra, eagles, vulture, and other large birds of the prey took birth. And from the womb of Muni, the angels took birth. Text 28. The son born of Krodavasa, were the serpent known as Dandasuka, Dandasuka, Dandashuka, and as well as other serpents and mosquitoes. All the various creepers and trees were born from the womb of Ila. The Rakshasas, bad spirits, were born from the womb of Sursa. Text 29 to 31. The Gandharvas were born from the womb of Arista, and the animals whose hooves are not split, such as horse, were born from the womb of Kastha. O king, from the womb of Danu came 61 sons, of whom these 18 were very important. Dimudra, Dimud, Dim, Dim, Dimurdha, Sambra, Arista, Hayagriva, Vibhavasu, Ayomukha, Sanskusira, Swabhanu, Swarabhanu, Kapila, Aruna, Puloma, Vrisaparva, Ekachakra, Anu Anutamama, Anutapama, Anutapana, Dhumrakesu, Dhumrakesa, Vipaksha, Vipachitri, and Durjaya. These were the 18 important personalities. Text 32. The daughter of Sarvabhanu named Suprabha was married by Namuchi. The daughter of Vrasprava named Srimastha was given the powerful king Yayati, the son of Nahusa. Text 32, 33 through 36. Vaishvarna, the son of Danu, had 4 beautiful daughters named Upadanvi, Ayasira, Puloma, and Kalaka. Hiranyaksha married Upadanvi, and Kratu married Hayasira. Thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajapati, Kasyapa married Puloma and Kalaka, the other 2 daughters of Vaishvanara. From the womb of these 2 wives of the Kasyapa came 60,000 sons, headed by uh, Navatakvachu, Nivat, Nivatakvachu, Nivat, Nivatakva, Takvacha, who were known as Pulomas and Kalakias. They were physically very strong and expert in fighting, and their aim was to disturb the sacrifice performed by the great sages. My dear king, when your grandfather Arjun went to the heavenly planet, he alone killed all these demons, and thus King Indra became extremely affectionate towards him. Text 37. In his wife Simika, Viprachiti, Viprachiti, uh, beg, Viprachiti begot 101 sons, of whom the eldest is Rahu and the others are 100 Ketus. All of them attained the position of influential planets. Text 38 to 39. Now, please hear me as I describe the descendants of Aditi in the chronological order. In this dynasty, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana descended by his plenary expansion. The name of the son of Aditi are as follows: Vivaswan, Aryama, Pusa, Tatvasta, Savita, Bhaga, Dhata, Vidhata, Varun, Mitra, Satru, and Urukarma. Text 14. Samini, Samanja, Samanja, the wife of Vivaswan, the sun god, gave birth to the Manu named Shraddha Deva, and the same fortunate wife also gave birth to the twin Yamraja and the river Yamuna. Then Yami, while wandering on the earth in the form of mare, gave birth to Aswani Kumaras. Text 41. Chaya, another wife of sun god, begot the sons named San, Shan, Saneskara, Saneshcha, Saneshchakara, Saneshchara, Savarni, Manu, and the daughter Tapati, Tapati, who married Somvarna. Text 42. From the womb of Martaka, the wife of Aryama, were born many learned scholars. Among them, Lord Brahma created the human species, which are endowed with aptitude for self examination. Pusa had no sons. Text 43. Pusa had no sons. When Lord Shiva was angry at Daksha, Pusa had laughed at Lord Shiva and shown his teeth. Therefore, he lost his teeth and had to live by eating only ground flour. Text 44. Rachna, the, the daughter of Daityas, became the wife of Prajapati Twasta. Twastha. By his semen, he begot her in her home two very powerful sons named Sanivesa and Viswarupa. Text 45. Although Viswarupa was the son of the daughter of the eternal enemies of demon, the demigod accepted him as their priest in accordance with the order of Brahma when they were abandoned by their spiritual master, Brahaspati, whom they had disrespected. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This ends the chapter 6, the progeny of um, the progeny and the progeny of the daughters of the Daksha. 60 daughters of the Daksha.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kishore Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Vamsi, Prabhu, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. We'll start with Mangalacharan first. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। um, so the verses that were read by Kishore Prabhuji today continues the theme of the progeny of the daughters of Daksha. So from the previous chapter, what we saw was we saw that Daksha had several sons, and then Srila Narad Muni actually rescued them by giving them Krishna consciousness. And this didn't go well with Daksha. That'll be the highlight of our discussion today. Daksha is not an ordinary personality. We understand from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, he's a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva, um, who has who has taken that position to help Lord Brahma progenate this universe. But we understand that in this universe, whatever position we take, we are always conditioned by the three modes of material nature, whoever we are. And that is the nature of this world. And we see from the life of Daksha, even though he is in a very elevated position to help Lord Brahma, who's a pure devotee in this world, but still he falls short because every living entity is conditioned in this world. And he goes to so much extent that he even cursed Srila Narada Muni in the previous chapter. And because of that attachment, there are different levels of attachment that we have within ourselves. And because of that attachment, he ends up begetting daughters first. And with the help of those daughters, we see in this series of verses, he is actually populating this universe with all different kinds of species. Right? And in text 23, it is mentioned that O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharatas, the constellations named Kritika were all the wives of moon god. However, because Prajapati Daksha had cursed him to suffer from a disease causing gradual destruction, the moon god could not beget children in any of his wives. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because the moon god was very much attached to Rohini, he neglected all his other wives. Therefore, seeing the bereavement of these daughters, Prajapati Daksha became angry and cursed him. So, the attachment that Prajapati Daksha had was the attachment that this can happen to, as practicing devotees, it can happen to us also. It's very subtle. Prajapati Daksha, he was helping Lord Brahma progenate this universe. But many times, what can happen is when we are given some service, we forget that we are simply serving in that role. And through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see several instances, whether it's Indra or Daksha, so many personalities, they are very exalted personalities. But because of the power and the position of that personality, we forget that we are actually servants. And it can happen to us also. It's very, very subtle. And because of this fact, because he had this attachment towards his daughters, he went on to curse moon god also. See, Daksha, we don't know whether it is the same Daksha, that is beyond our conceptions, because Srila Prabhupada says all the instances in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, he says that it happens in multiple universes and at different millenniums. So we don't know whether it's the same Daksha, but we see even in the fourth canto, Daksha was actually having difficult times with Lord Shiva, cursing Lord Shiva, and then he had to lose his head, and then he gets a goat head, and then he repents for his mistakes that he did, and he prays to Lord Shiva that may he become purified. But the same Daksha curses Srila Narada Muni, and then again he curses moon god. What is the root cause of all these problems? See, all of us go through a lot of troubles and obstacles in bhakti. It is immaterial, we all go through, because Srila Prabhupada says we are all conditioned for many, many lifetimes. And it is not that we chant Hare Krishna and then we immediately become purified. It is not possible. Maybe very rare souls who have practiced bhakti in their previous lifetimes, it can happen. Within a span of very few years, they become perfect. But most of us, because we have so many conditioning within our heart, it's not easy for us to gain over the obstacles that we have, that we face through the path of bhakti. And the main obstacle for all of us while practicing bhakti is gaining over the anarthas within our heart. And our Acharya said it is the longest stage for every sadhaka, for all of us. And that anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, all these things which are there in our heart, we have to find the root of all the problems of all these anarthas. We cannot take one anartha out of another anartha. Hey, Krishna, please help me. I am actually just like Daksha became angry here. I cannot just go and pray to Guru and Krishna, please. Yes, of course, we can pray. But our spiritual masters and our acharyas say we have to always try to find the root of all these problems. Where is all this coming from? Why am I suddenly getting angry? Why am I suddenly feeling lusty? Why am I suddenly feeling illusioned? Why am I feeling envious if some other devotee is doing well in bhakti? Why is this happening? My spiritual master says that the root of all the anarthas is false ego. And because we are identifying ourselves with this body, with this position, even within the realm of bhakti, that I am such, sometimes I think like that. Hey, you see how much service I'm doing, how much preaching I'm doing, how much services we are doing at home, how much services we are doing at temple. I think I'm advancing. That's ego. The moment we think that I am so and so, that's a defeat by the illusory energy of this world. And as soon as we think like that, we are captured by Maya, by the three modes, instantly. Just like Srila Prabhupada says, right? Uh, as soon as we forget Krishna, Maya immediately captures us. Immediately. There is no in between state. Immediately we are captured by the three modes. And as soon as we are captured by the three modes, Krishna's illusory energy is so powerful. It is his energy. What power we have. We are so insignificant. My spiritual master in one class, he said, we are 1 by 10,000 tip of the hair. We are insignificant. How much power we have over the illusory energy of Krishna? Absolutely no power. As soon as I identify myself with the false ego, there comes the defeat. And that's what is happening to Daksha here. He's identifying himself. You see, I'm such an exalted soul here who's trying to procreate. And how dare you neglect my daughter? And he curses moon god. Right? And the several verses after that, it talks about all the procreations that is done. In text 42, I want to highlight this specifically because it is applicable to us. It is mentioned that from the womb of Matrika, the wife of Aryama, were born many learned scholars. Among them, Lord Brahma created the human species, which are endowed with an aptitude for self-examination. See, so many species are created through Prajapati Daksha and his daughters. But then human species are also created by him. But what is the uniqueness of the human species? Bhagavatam says we have the aptitude for self-examination, not examine others. That is fault finding. Fault finding will happen when we identify ourselves that I am great, you are small. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that I'm um, before finding, I don't remember the exact phrase, but before finding the fault in others, let me look at myself first because I'm honeycombed with faults. I have so many faults within my heart. I have several lifetimes to uh, cleanse my heart. Why should I even take the time to look at the fault of others? I don't have enough time to practice bhakti. Aptitude for self-examination. Let us take this very seriously, because Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us. It's Krishna himself in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us that as humans we have to examine ourselves all the time. The other day, during our spiritual masters Vyasa Puja, Her Grace Rukmini Mataji, she is very senior, and when she was offering, she was telling that in one of Maharaj's class, she was hearing that once Maharaj went and he was talking to some devotee, random devotee, and that devotee was talking about some other devotee, and this devotee is doing like that, that devotee is speaking like that, simply criticizing. And Maharaj said, uh, "You are so advanced. I don't think I am advanced as you are to talk about these subject matters." And he simply moved away from that place. This is how we need to think. Even in such circumstances, we shouldn't think that we are so great. Every situation is an opportunity to humble ourselves. We are not so great. And Prajapati Daksha, because we need to always get back to the basics, right? Always we speak big, big things. But Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Instruction, the first verse, Prabhupada is always ask, we have to always read Nectar of Instruction time and again, because time and again we fall victim. And we have to go to the root of all the problems. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara upasta vegam, etan vegan yo vishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam prithvim shashishyat. Tolerating the urge to speak. What does Prabhupada says in the purport? First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. Srila Prabhupada is very strong because all of us have tendency to speak. And Prabhupada says that the meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Sri Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying Krishna. So all of the devotees are wonderfully coming every day morning and speaking and glorifying Krishna and the devotees through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the way to use our tongue. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling of urge to speak. Because we have this urge always, we should always try to engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness somehow or the other. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. Somehow or the other, we should engage our tongue. And if we don't engage our tongue, always, somehow or the other, it is very difficult for us to control our speech. Just like what happened to Daksha here. The false ego will capture us. And this can happen not so easily. It's not a mechanical process. Hey, okay, I'll just give this up and I will start always chanting, always speaking about Krishna. It is not. See, bhakti, Prabhupada always says, is a scientific process. And Prabhupada gives a secret of doing this. See, Prabhupada's purports, all of you are very seniors and advanced devotees, so you're already aware, but I'm reading this for my own purification. Prabhupada is saying in the purport in 1344, simple hearing is not at all. Yes, we need to hear, but just hearing alone will not help. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means that Suta Goswami drank the juice of Srimad Bhagavatam through his ears. This is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, from a devotee Bhagavata, who is showing it as an example, like Srila Prabhupada. When we are reading Prabhupada, Prabhupada also said, while we are reading his books, we are actually hearing directly from him. Not different, because he spoke on a dictaphone, and that dictaphone tape was transcribed and it's come in the book form. It's not different. We are hearing from Prabhupada. We need to study Prabhupada's books with rapt attention. No other things that we need. We can't do two things. Then he can at once realize the presence of Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. This is what we want to always remember. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. And no one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. And no one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or the other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. So, bhakti is scientific, and we need to follow these instructions of the acharyas. I cannot think myself that, yes, I figured it all. At every stage, we need to follow these instructions. And tongue should be controlled. We need to only take prasadam. Very difficult, but it's an austerity to please Guru and Krishna. Right? If we simply take prasadam and always engage our tongue, yes, we need to sometimes engage in helping the temple and speaking other things. We can't always speak Krishna Katha, right? But those are exceptions. But other times, we need to always try to be busy. Our Acharya said there should not be free time is danger. My spiritual master says free time means it's danger. There should not be any free time in our 24 hours in a day. Yeah. Whether we are working or something, we should not give any free time to our mind. Our mind will make us crazy. And I also wanted to read out this pastime, which is apt because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the form of his devotee to teach us how to be a devotee. And because we are talking about anger and all the anarthas, we will see how Mahaprabhu reacts in such reactions. Because in these situations, because he is showing us how to be a devotee. I don't want to be angry, but what to do in situations when we have been put in such situations. Once what happened was, Sarvam Bhattacharya, after becoming a pure devotee by the mercy of Gopinath Acharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is still staying in Jagannath Puri and Mahaprabhu is still in Jagannath Puri because we understand after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he stays in Jagannath Puri and he is always immersed in the thoughts of Krishna by seeing Lord Jagannath every day. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because he's become a pure devotee, he wants to invite Mahaprabhu and his sannyasi devotees like Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar Goswami, so many other devotees for lunch. And he calls Mahaprabhu for so many days, but Mahaprabhu says, no, I will come only one day. Then somehow he negotiates with Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu agrees, okay, I'll come for 5 days. So like this, he invites every sannyasi disciple, and so that throughout the month, every day some sannyasi comes for his home for taking lunch. Something we can learn also, right? That grihasthas we need to invite when Prabhupada writes this in one of his purports that when sannyasis are around, we should make it an opportunity to call them home and feed them prasadam. And Mahaprabhu comes home. And when he comes home, there is a series of verses how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife so lovingly cook so much bhoga and offer it to their Shaligram deity at home, and they are ready to offer it to Mahaprabhu when he comes home. And you see what Mahaprabhu is saying here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was astonished to see the gorgeous arrangement of prasadam. He says this is uncommon. How is this arrangement of rice and vegetables finished within 6 hours? Even 100 men cooking on 100 stoves could not possibly finish all these preparations with such a short time. I hope the food has already been offered to Krishna since I see there are tulsi flowers on it. You are most fortunate and your endeavor is successful, for you have offered such wonderful food to Radha and Krishna. The color of rice is so attractive and it's aromatic, so good that it appears Radha and Krishna have directly taken it. My dear Bhattacharya, your fortune is very great. How much shall I praise you? I also am very fortunate to be able to take the remnants of this food. Take away Krishna's sitting place and put it aside. Then give me prasadam on a different plate. Saram Bhattacharya said, it is not so wonderful, my lord. Everything has been made possible by the energy and mercy of him who will eat the food. My wife and I did not especially exert ourselves in the cooking, but he by whose power the food has been prepared knows everything. Now please sit in this place and take your lunch. The Bhattacharya said, both the food and the sitting place are the Lord's mercy. If you can eat remnants of the food, what is the offense in your sitting in this place? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, yes, you have spoken correctly. The Shastras enjoin that the devotee can partake of everything left by Krishna. See, Saram Bhattacharya is glorifying Mahaprabhu that he is Krishna himself, but Mahaprabhu is always humbling himself, telling that I am only a devotee of Krishna. My dear Lord, the garlands, scented substances, garments, ornaments, and other such things that have been offered to you may later be used by your servants. By partaking of these things and eating the remnants of food you have left, we will be able to conquer the illusory energy. See, by taking prasadam, that is bhoga that is offered to Krishna, by getting the garlands or any other tadiya, tadiya means something that has been used by Krishna, what will happen? We will be able to conquer illusory energy. That is why partaking food only offered to Krishna is very important. Very, very important, because sometimes or many times we forget this. Yes, chanting Hare Krishna is important, but what is the consciousness we can chant? That is also important. So by partaking prasadam and chant, that is why Prabhupada always quoted that verse. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indriyai sevan mukehi jivado swayam eva spuratyada. Sevan mukehi jivado. We cannot understand Krishna by these senses, mind and senses. But by engaging by engaging in service to Krishna, what is that service? Prabhupada says, service with the tongue. By taking prasadam and by chanting Hare Krishna, gradually Krishna will reveal himself to us, to everyone. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, there is so much food that it is impossible to eat at all. Now you see how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying. After all, at Jagannath Puri, you eat 52 times a day, and each time you eat hundreds of buckets filled with prasadam. At Dwaraka, you keep 16,000 queens in 16,000 places. And also there are 18 mothers and numerous friends and relatives of the Yadu dynasty. In Vrindavan, you also have your father's elder brothers, your father's younger brothers, maternal uncles, husbands of your father's sisters, and many cowherd men. There are also cowherd boyfriends, and you eat twice a day, morning and evening, in the house of each and every one. Indeed, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, at Govardhan Puja ceremony, you ate stacks of rice. In comparison to that, this is just a small quantity. It is not even a morsel to you. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, whereas I am most insignificant living being. Therefore, please accept a little quantity of food from my house. Such wonderful devotion. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and sat down to eat. See, this is Krishna. Krishna gets captured by the love of his devotee. Bhakta Vatsal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. The Bhattacharya, with great pleasure, first offered him prasadam from Jagannath temple. At this time, the Bhattacharya had son-in-law named Amogha. Now, this is the pastime that we want to discuss today. Amogha, who was the husband of his daughter, Shati, Although born in an aristocratic Brahmana family, Amoga was a great fault finder and blasphemer. This is what can happen. Dry knowledge without devotion is a danger. Because Sarvabhaumacharya, before becoming a pure devotee, the word Bhattacharya, or Acharya is explained, Bhattacharya is a title given in Bengal area and Orissa area. If anybody studies all the four Vedas and have them in their fingertips, they are given the title Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a very exalted personality. And imagine to be a son-in-law of such a big personality. He was Brahmin by birth, aristocratic Brahmin family. So this is what can happen. If we are not having the qualifications, Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that Brahman means quality, qualification, not by birth. All these kind of fault-finding mentalities and enviousness, all these things should not be there in a Brahmana. So we need to cultivate these qualities. Amoga wanted to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat, but he was not allowed to enter because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya knew his son-in-law will come and criticize and find faults. He knew his son-in-law's character. So Bhattacharya guarded the threshold of his house with a stick in his hand. However, as soon as Bhattacharya began distributing prasadam and was a little inattentive, Amoga came in. Seeing the quantity of food, he began to blaspheme Mahaprabhu. This much food is sufficient to satisfy 10 or 12 men, but this sannyasi alone is eating so much. This is what can happen. See, something we can learn also. We should never come to a judgment simply seeing by a mundane eyes. Even within the realm of bhakti, we may see some devotee doing something or something happening to a devotee. But because I am a conditioned soul, I cannot see what is that devotee going through in his or her own life. Unless and until we are an authority, our acharyas and our spiritual masters say, unless and until we are an authority for the devotee or the devotees are our dependents, we should not judge. Judgment is a big danger. You see, even in Pundarik Vidyanidhi's pastimes, we don't have time, but Pundarik Vidyanidhi is such an advanced devotee, but through him, Mahaprabhu is again teaching. That he went and saw the priests in Jagannath Puri offering starched clothes. Just few days ago, Odana Sashti festival happened. It is a festival celebrated in Jagannath Puri where they offer starched clothes to Jagannath, Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi was shocked. He said, according to Shastra, you should not offer starched clothes. It's a big pastime. But the point is, we cannot come to a judgment by our vision. Only pure devotees can. And that too, they will not criticize. But because we are conditioned souls, just by looking at a devotee or what is happening to a devotee, or if a devotee is doing some service, we'll come to a judgment. Because we are identifying with our ego. That is a problem. Hey, whatever service I am doing is the best. Hey, your service is not so great. This is all mundane vision. As soon as Amoga said this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya turned his eyes upon him. Seeing the Bhattacharya's attitude, Amoga immediately left. Seeing Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya not so pleased, Amoga immediately left. The Bhattacharya ran after him to strike him with a stick, but Amoga fled so fast that Bhattacharya could not catch him because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very old. The Bhattacharya then began to curse his son-in-law and call him ill names. When Bhattacharya returned, he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughing to hear him criticize Amoga. This is the lesson that we can learn from Mahaprabhu. We will see what Mahaprabhu is doing. When Shati's mother, the Bhattacharya's wife, heard of this incident, she immediately began to strike her head and chest, saying again and again, let Shati become a widow. Seeing the lamentation of both husband and wife, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to pacify them. According to their desire, he ate the prasadam and was very satisfied. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished eating, the Bhattacharya poured water for the Lord to wash his mouth, hands, legs, and offered him flavored spices, tulsi manjaris, cloves, and cardamom. The Bhattacharya then placed a flower garland over Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and smeared his body with sandalwood pulp. After offering obeisances, the Bhattacharya submitted the following humble statement: I actually brought you to my home just to have you blasphemed. This is a great offense. Please excuse me. I beg your pardon. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what Amoga has said is correct. Therefore, it is not blasphemy. What is your offense? Amanina manadena. Mahaprabhu is showing by example. Even if somebody may say anything to us, this should be our aspiration. I am not there yet. This is not a theory. Trinadapi sunichena taror api sahishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Amanina manadena. Not expecting respect and offering all respect to others. Mahaprabhu is showing again, time and again, he is showing us that even if somebody says the most grievous thing to us, he is saying what he said is correct. What is your offense? After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and returned to his residence. Sarvamvadacharya followed him. Following down at the Lord's feet, Sarvamvadacharya said many things in self-reproach. The Lord then pacified him and sent him back to his home. After returning to his home, Sarvamvadacharya consulted with his wife, the mother of Shati. After personally condemning himself, he began to speak as follows. If the man who blasphemed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is killed, his sinful action may be atoned. It's very serious. To blaspheme Krishna is so serious that that person may be killed only. This is the verdict of the Shastra. See, Shati is not just saying out of sentiment. One should read the purports. Prabhupada reveals many things. Sarvam Bhattacharya continued, or if I give up my own life, this sinful action may be atoned. However, neither of these ideas is befitting because both bodies belong to Brahmanas. See, again Sarvam Bhattacharya is saying, no, this sinful action may be atoned. However, neither of these ideas is befitting because Brahmana body cannot be killed because that again is sin. Instead, I shall never see the face of that blasphemer. I reject him and give my relationship with him. I shall never speak his name. I think even in the Daksha's pastime when Sati goes to meet her father, there Prabhupada writes in that purport, if somebody blasphemes a Vaishnav, especially an exalted Vaishnav, in that instant it was Lord Shiva, Prabhupada writes we should do three things. If we are able to defeat that person, we should defeat them. Otherwise, we should leave that place. Otherwise, we should just cut their tongue and we should kill ourselves. But in this day and age, we cannot do the third one where we can harm somebody and we can kill ourselves. Better thing, if somebody is disrespecting somebody or criticizing somebody, better leave that place. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will, this verses will tell why. Why we have to do that. It's so important. Sarvam Bhattacharya continued. Okay, we read this. Inform my daughter Shati to abandon her relationship with her husband because he has fallen down. When the husband falls down, it is a wife's duty to relinquish that relationship. Prabhupada writes in the purport that if somebody falls down and if they are not willing to take up bhakti, it is, I mean, it's not whimsically done. It should be done under the order of a guru. But it is not wrong giving up the relationship. When a husband is fallen, one's relationship with him must be given up. That night, Amoga, Sarvamabhattacharya's son-in-law, fled, and in the morning, he immediately fell sick with cholera. Immediate effect. Immediately. The Chaitanya Charitamrita explained. When Bhattacharya heard that Amoga was dying of cholera, he thought it is a favor of providence that he is doing what I wanted to do. When one offends the Supreme Personality of Godhead, karma immediately takes effect. After saying this, he recited two verses from the revealed scripture. So this verse was recited by Bhima, the Pandavas, one of the Pandavas. What we have had to arrange with great endeavor by collecting elephants, horses, chariots, and infantry soldiers has already been accomplished by the Gandharvas. So I think many of us are aware that once Duryodhan was there in the forest, and then the the Gandharvas actually fought them and defeated the Kauravas. That's when Bhim actually mentioned this. And this is the important thing that I want to highlight. When a person mistreats great souls, what is the effect? His lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, good fortune are all destroyed. Whatever bhakti credits that we have done, even if you hear somebody is criticizing somebody, it is gradually destroyed. At this time, Gopinath Acharya went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord asked him about the events taking place in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Gopinath Acharya informed that the Lord that both the husband and wife were fasting and that their son-in-law Amoga was dying of cholera. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that Amoga was going to die, he immediately ran to him in great haste. Placing his hand on Amoga's chest, he spoke as follows. This is the highlight of this chapter. The heart of a Brahmana is by nature very clean. Therefore, it is a proper place for Krishna to sit. Why have you allowed the Chandala of jealousy to sit here also? In this way, you have contaminated a most purified place, your heart. However, due to association of Sarvamvadacharya, all your contamination is now vanquished. When a person's heart is cleansed of all contamination, he is able to chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. Therefore, Amoga, get up and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you do so, Krishna will unfailingly bestow mercy upon you. After hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and being touched by him, Amoga, who was on his deathbed, immediately stood up and began to chant the holy name of Krishna. Thus, he became mad with ecstatic love and began to dance emotionally. I'll stop here because it's late. But Mahaprabhu, he didn't take the offense on him. And because Amoga was related to a pure devotee, Mahaprabhu accepted that devotee. This is the nature of Krishna. But we have to be very careful. Our acharyas explained that Krishna doesn't mind if somebody criticizes him. But if he criticizes devotees, Krishna will not even look at us. Because his devotees are very dear to him. And if somebody criticizes or finds faults with his devotees, unless and until we go and beg pardon to that devotee, there is no other way. No other way for us. It's very, very often ignored fact. Because all of us are conditioned souls. At least I am. I tend to forget these simple things. And if we keep these things in mind while dealing with devotees and in general every living being, Mahaprabhu is telling, then we can chant Hare Krishna. Then the Mahamantra will actually please and attract the attention of Krishna. This is what we can learn by self-examining us and seeing that these things are still there within my heart, still the contaminations are there. Krishna, please help me. In this mood, we have to chant every day. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. All these conditions are there within my heart, Krishna. Please help me. I don't have any power within these three worlds. I'm literally struggling, Krishna. Please. I want to please you. I want to please your devotees. Like this, we have to chant every day. At the same time, we have to stay away from all these nonsense talks. And we should also try not to speak all these things. In this way, if we chant the holy names, then gradually our heart will get cleansed. And this is the only way. Yes, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Yes. But our Acharya say how we have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Like this, we have to practice chanting the holy names. I'll stop here because this pastime of Daksha, of anger, is very applicable to at least myself. Oftentimes, I speak a lot, but I don't practice many things. That is my fault. But we have to endeavor to actually give up these tendencies that is there in our heart. I'll stop here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.